Today marks 1758 day of day lessons, day reflections. And today I want to speak about standards again. It's such an interesting topic today. And today I want to speak about self-interest. I'm speaking about last couple of days about 8 standards that we need to live by. And right away, I shared that self-interest are the first level, and second level is fairness. And I said that of course we don't want to stay in those first 2 levels. And I went to right away to explain how to live a life based on third level responsibility. But now when I reflect on that, I realize that was such a bad thing to do. Because sometimes we want to skip levels. We want to say that, oh, I don't want to live a life based on self interest. I don't want to live based on fairness. I want to really live based on the better standards. But when we do that, when we deny those levels, we potentially don't build the foundation because self interest is necessary. That means that healthy self interest is necessary to have a beautiful life. And if we ignore it and we think, okay, I need to live beyond self interest, we forget ourselves. And sometimes we can potentially give ourselves too much and lose ourselves. So healthy health interest is necessary. And it's my mistake that I moved to responsibility right away because I thought, okay, like this is more important. But it's more important when you actually have the foundation of self interest. Today, we'll share what we need to consider about healthy self interest just to make sure that we build the foundation of standard of healthy self interest, and then we're able to build on top of that. And I will share other standard levels, but today focusing on the foundation, healthy self interest. So number one is that protect your basic interests. And that's again the what we need to protect no matter what. That means safety. Where is that health? That is that mental, emotional, spiritual health. Those is non-negotiables. We need to protect no matter what. We need to protect our money. We need to protect our time. We need to protect our freedom, peace, future. That those are the basic things that we need to protect. Those are non-negotiables. We're not able to sacrifice those things for something that do not matter. Because at that moment, when we have healthy self-interest, we're saying that my life matters too. My life matters too. And this is again what healthy self-interest says. That is not saying that other person life matters and we forgot about ourselves and we sacrifice for someone else, but we need to understand that our life matters too. Number two, stop sacrificing yourself to be liked. And again, this is extremely important because we're saying no when it's necessary to say no. Because sometimes to be liked, we need to say yes. And I think that healthy self interest is doing what is right for you. Now, sometimes we, of course, we're able to do something that's inconvenient for us to help somebody to improve, to improve. But it's a choice, not obligation, not to be liked, but because we chose for to be a good person. But if it takes away the non-negotiables, that is not okay. Again, what are non-negotiables in your life? And I say, like, if I need to sacrifice my non-negotiables because you're able to put yourself in inconvenience position, that's totally fine. That's a great, that's a good person, kind person. But if it's sacrifices non-negotiables, that's not okay. Because being a good person doesn't mean to really to make other people happy, make everyone happy, because we'll never make everyone happy anyway. Number three, make decisions based on consequences. And I think that's sometimes we can really say that what will make me feel good right now. And that is not a good healthy self-interest. We need to say what produces the most outcome over time. That is a healthy self-interest. What will produce the best outcome over time? Because what is the best for me right now? What will bring the most fun is maybe eating cake, drinking energy drink, maybe laying down in bed to eat chips, watching a movie. That's just it's fun, pleasurable right now. But will that bring the outcome and produce the outcome that will bring the most self-interest in the future? No. So sometimes we need to really ask the right questions. What will bring best results over time? So long-term thinking is the healthy self-interest. Unhealthy self-interest is just focusing only on the short-term pleasure. Number four, protect your time ruthlessly. Time and energy. That's like where the time goes. Because we need to really say that again. Is this worth of my own life? And of course, we need to understand that sometimes giving our life to someone else and volunteering is the best thing of your use of your time because it gives meaning, gives purpose, gives so many bliss and joy. And that's going to be the great option of investing our time. But sometimes when someone maybe did us wrong, and we potentially could think for an hour about that. And is it worth that hour spending? Because it's that thought of is it worth it really allows me to really heal from some kind of things much more quickly because it's not worth. It doesn't matter in a bigger picture. And learning that, that's a healthy self interest. Number five is learn to recognize bad deals. And it's asking like what I'm actually getting in exchange for my giving. So regarding jobs, friendships, relationships, business, commitments, investments, that means that it's a beautiful thing to be able to really reflect and say, what really I'm receiving. Because I think that we need to recognize that sometimes when we give, we need to receive. Because I think that we understand that it depends where, of course. If sometimes some relations you just give and give and give, and that's totally fine because that's you choose to. But some areas, if where you really want to receive, that's exactly what you really pursue. And if you don't receive anything, maybe it's unhealthy. Maybe it's not a healthy place to be in. Maybe job, maybe the employer is a person who really takes advantage. And I said like this is not a good deal for me. So being able to understand that some deals will not be beneficial and you will need to walk away. And that's totally fine. And somebody has said that healthy self-interest is sometimes being a villain in someone else's story because they don't see the full picture. Because if they take advantage of you and now you're walking away, now for them will be, wow, I was able to get so much out of him, but he walked away and I will not be able to really get so much advantage of him. So understanding what is a good deal for you is healthy self-interest. Number six, don't confuse discomfort with harm. And this is a beautiful topic. Don't confuse discomfort with harm. Studying is uncomfortable. Exercising is uncomfortable. Saving money is uncomfortable. Having difficult conversations is uncomfortable. Is that harmful? No. That is extremely beneficial, not harmful. That's why we need to really discomfort is it's a healthy self-interest. Such an interesting thing. Discomfort most likely is healthy self-interest. Unhealthy self-interest is that said, okay, does it feel good? No, that's not the question that we ask because that is unhealthy. We need to ask, is this good for me? If it's good for me, it might be that it'll be extremely uncomfortable, but it's good for me, so I will do it. That is a thing that we're looking for. Invest in yourself. Be intentional about investing in yourself. And that means that in everything, in skills, in health, in financial stability, emotional regulation, maturity, relations, knowledge, discipline, spiritual depth, and it's not about really consuming more, it's more about becoming more. And that's why when we really going to develop ourselves, grow ourselves, we say, like, how we could become more by consuming something even less. Because one beautiful thing is that by if you want to become more capable, what we need to do sometimes, we need to really consume and produce. And when we consume and produce, at that moment we're able to be developing our skill sets, our understandings and wisdoms, and to be more. Because consuming alone most likely feels good, but doesn't necessarily make us better. And that's why we need to really always say, like, what really makes me more capable? And sometimes consuming and sometimes producing. And that's like yes, investing in yourself is extremely important for healthy self-interest. Number eight, don't rescue people at your own expense. And this is what I always say that someone else emergency doesn't automatically become your emergency. That means that it's very kind to give your time, energy to other people, and it's a great choice to do that. But again, what you sacrifice, if you sacrifice inconvenience, do it, help. But if you sacrifice your values, if you sacrifice your non-negotiables, if you sacrifice your vision, if you sacrifice the most important things in your life, don't do it. This needs coming from alignment, not from anything else. So helping is a choice, not an obligation. If someone is struggling, that's not your responsibility. Someone is to jump in and help. Because maybe they had very extremely bad poor planning, and now jumping in will not allow them to learn a lesson that they need to learn from their poor planning. Number nine, choose relations that are good for you. And this is interesting that we need to ask, okay, do you become calmer, stronger, more honest, more disciplined, more yourself? Or do you become anxious, defensive, exhausted, smaller, dishonest, resentful? Because we need to ask, okay, what this relationship brings. Who am I in this relationship? Because sometimes you can realize that maybe this relationship putting you in a position that you're not who you are and who you're supposed to be. And you need to be honest with yourself. And that's a healthy self-interest. Because my relationships should be contribute positively to my life. Now, it will be, as I said, uncomfortable sometimes. It will bring a lot of discomfort, but we already discussed that discomfort doesn't mean harm. And in that, we need to separate. Is there discomfort because I need to grow and develop? Because healthy relation will require you to grow, improve, and develop and be better in every aspect of life. But if that relationship really puts you in a position of anxious defensiveness and really doesn't allow you to grow, maybe that's an unhealthy relationship and we need to walk away. And that's a healthy self-interest. And last one, number 10, take responsibility for your own happiness. Don't make other people really responsible for giving you meaning, confidence, identity, self-worth, purpose, peace. You are the person who really gives all those things. And I think that when you really develop a healthy and that you have lifestyle and you have the whole perspective of yourself, all other things is just additions to your life rather than life support systems. And that's extremely important. And I think that's the last thing that I really want to mention that even though this as a foundation thing, of course, we'll need bigger things in the future. The last thing that I want to mention is that learning healthy interest may be exactly the correction you need before you can practice at higher standards without abandoning yourself. Because I realized just today that sometimes people struggle not because they live on a low standard. They live in a very high standard, maybe excellence or maybe wisdom, and they live such a high standard life, but because they forget that there are foundation standards like healthy self-interest, they don't live a great life because they abandon themselves while they're pursuing those high standards. So starting and living every single level of a standard is extremely important. And the last thing that I want to mention very short is that the healthy self-interest becomes unhealthy when you start saying that my interests are the only interests that matter. Even though that healthy interest says like my life matters too, but unhealthy says that my interests are the only interests that matter. And that's where we need to understand. So I hope you choose to win and see you tomorrow.